Things are going to get a little bit dark here on Braddock Media this week. I get to pay homage to one of Marvel's most sinister villains. This is the Carnage Comiquette Statue from SideShow Collectibles and Toys. This is the Ariel Olivetti edition from 2010. On this week's episode, I'm going to show you all the different parts of this box art, different pieces that this statue comes with, and I'm going to tell you about Cletus Cassidy, aka Carnage, the character behind this incredible statue. Thank you, Cherry Bomb Toys, for letting me review this week. And now that you know what's happening, let's go over and check out this box art.
Oh.
On last week's episode, I ended up going over the Spider-Man that pairs up with this statue. His box art was very different. It looked like a comic book that was flipping through on all different sides. This one is very much statue all around. I'll save the best part for last on the final side. The front of this box, the pink really kind of clashes with the red of the statue. It's a little bit odd. I would have liked to have seen more of the blue hues that you see on the sides of the box here, which I'll turn now and I'll show you. So yes, this is really great. I enjoyed the photography on this. SideShow generally does a really good job when they're showcasing their statues. The back of the box. Is the statue actually similar to the pose that I posed him in, which is a kind of an odd coincidence. This part on the side, this was my favorite. I wish they had, here. I wish they had put this on the back of the box in a big giant piece. This is a Daily Bugle article about Cassidy and Carnage and the character, and it's really a really neat kind of add-on attachment because, as you can see, this is actually part of the Daily Bugle on a stand. I'll go more into that again in breakdown. Now that we've covered over this box art, I'm going to flip it to the front. And now that that part's done, we get to go into what I was talking about, the dark side of this episode. Cletus Cassidy was just so different for me when I was reading the Spider-Man comics, especially when he came in a year before he ended up merging with the symbiote Carnage. He ended up killing his grandmother by pushing her down the stairs. He ended up killing the family dog. His mother ended up... So these are spoilers. Sorry if you haven't read this backstory. You're getting them all now. His mother ended up finding out and tried to kill him when he was a kid and was beaten to death by his father. He ended up going into an orphanage and ended up killing some girl because she rejected him and wouldn't, date him and laughed at him. He pushed her in front of a bus. There was so many dark things that ended up happening. He burnt down the school. He, of course, ended up in prison after getting caught for several murders. The reason why this was so strange for me is normally you're used to in, Rhino, Dr. Ock, like all these different characters that have like kind of superpowers or weird things that have happened to them. And this is just a regular guy serial killer, which was a really interesting touch. I definitely feel that whoever wrote his backstory was very influenced by Jeffrey Dahmer, especially when it came to the pet killing part in that. It's really a fascinating storyline. What happens is when he ends up in prison, he ends up getting paired up with Eddie Brock, who is Venom. And there is a Venom that, unfortunately, I don't have access to that pairs up with all three of them and makes this incredible diorama. It's all artwork done by Ariel Olivetti. It's amazing. Anyways, he ends up getting paired up with Eddie, and when Venom symbiote ends up coming back to find Eddie Brock, he leaves his offspring in the cell, and that's how Carnage is created. It ends up merging with Cletus and creating Carnage, and of course becomes too strong and too powerful for even Venom symbiote to control, and there's a lot of pairing up with Spider-Man, and it's a great storyline. I definitely recommend you check out those comics. I really enjoyed them. I might be very positive, upbeat girl, but I love a dark, gory horror kind of story. And yeah, now that we've covered over box art and told you a little bit more about this character that we're reviewing today, I'm going to go into the breakdown and tell you all the different pieces on this statue. Statues like this from 2010, I think, are the reason why you're seeing a lot more plastic attachments when it comes to really small little things like tendrils and attachments and the Hellboy crown. It's just easier to ship them and less breakage and less problems. You're not going to have to worry about waiting or destroying your statue, which becomes a huge waste for Sideshow as well as the collector and their time. It's nice to have those. They, of course, are a little bit risky when it comes to heat and lighting, but you never want to heat and light any of these statues anyways. They're made from polystone, which under too much heat can actually end up warping or cracking or even melting in some extreme cases that I've seen. You want to find a light LED lighting to them. There are a lot of different tendrils on this statue. They all kind of slot in different pieces. I'll just kind of take a bunch of different shots of them here. So there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think 9 in total on this body piece, and they all just kind of come out at all different angles. There's one that's broken, so you'll see a little slot in there that it was supposed to go into. I just left it out instead of having a broken piece hanging off there. It happened to a lot of them. The other part that there was a lot of breakage on the forms was right in here with this weapon area on the hand that's coming out. It's just very delicate and fine polystone detail from the mold. And yeah, it's not surprising that those got broken. So yes, I think that's why the evolution of plastic attachment pieces that I've seen in like Catwoman and her hand, and it just makes it a little bit easier for everybody. Now that we've gone over all the tendrils, it's just one massive body. Like, there is not actually a head that comes off or an arm or a hand. Like, that's normally what you're used to on your Sideshow statues. It is one giant mammoth piece. The base on this one here is supposed to be from the Daily Bugle. So both Venom and Carnage would be posed in front, and these pieces kind of come together to complement each other. They're both on the Daily Bugle, and Spider-Man is, of course, off and kind of looking down at them from another building. I'm going to show you a picture of what the trio of them put together looks like right here, which is really an amazing diorama if you could ever come up with the space to fit these, because they are quite large. I'm going to just do a bunch of shots of the body here. His face, his teeth are just so bitchin'. Like, they are, this is just a really sexy statue, which is kind of weird to say about a serial killer, but it's pretty intense. They just did a great job on matching. It's red. There was a Bowen statue that I ended up seeing before this one when I was looking at it, because I wanted to order him, but I missed out. It was really orange red, and this is definitely more of the darker kind of burgundy red color, which is what I associate with Carnage. This is, again, based off of Ariel Olivetti's artwork. If you want to know more about that artist, check out the Spider-Man video that I did before this. He was right in there with the sculpt, designing this piece. The exclusive version, which this is, the print ended up getting damaged as well in shipping. So I'm just going to show you a picture of the print here that it came with. It's a really nice touch. It had the, exact artwork that the statue is based around, and it's just so beautiful. He's so talented, and he just really brings such an amazing touch to these drawings and these characters. So yes, 1, 2, and 9 little ones. There's not a lot of pieces to this guy, but he is just beautiful. The blackness on here, the slick bits of the symbiote, it's just really, the muscular structure, does a really great job on this sculpt. Like, you can tell that Ariel had a huge influence. Of course, obviously, it was his work. He wants it to look really good, and they really nailed it on this one. So yes, now that we've gone over all that, let's head over to finding out who did what on the statue. And we're going to show you some really great shots, front, back, side of video of the statue while I end up addressing those. So stay tuned. I want to take a little bit more time in shoutouts this week so we get to view all the different angles of this epic villain. The different artists who worked on this statue were Ariel Olivetti, Martin Canal and the Gore Group Studios, Mike Najara, Anthony Meztez, and a massive thank you to the SideShow Collectible Design and Development team for working with Ariel Olivetti and creating this trio of heroes and villains that jump right out of the comic books and into our displays. Hello everybody! If you love this review video, make sure to click below and subscribe, share this video, give a thumbs up. I would love to hear your comments in the review section. I don't want you to miss out on weekly videos here at Radic Media. See you next week!